Hello and welcome to Clever Pause. As usual, a list of all the materials used can be found in the description below. Der Weihnachtsbaum, or the Christmas tree in English, is a short adventure novel a friend of my parents wrote for one of his children. Currently, it's only available on German Amazon in German. The second edition is now available for purchase. I will leave a link in the description box below to the German Amazon page. This edition is fully illustrated by myself, including the book cover and the chapter headings. In the interest of full disclosure, I will be getting a small commission for every copy sold. This is also a great way to support this channel and in return own some of my illustrations in bound form. It is aimed at children of around 6 to 9 years of age, what's called young reader in Germany, but a lot of the books for that age group have relatively flat storylines. The main critique was that it does not contain enough illustrations to break up the text, which makes reading it a bit daunting. This is where I come in. My part is to create illustrations that complement the story, but also help the reader to follow it along if they not yet know some of the words. Having this as an additional challenge surely also makes it more difficult for me, as I have to capture the storytelling as well as the story. On the upshot, I can now say I contributed to childhood literacy, which is no small feat and will hopefully have a lasting impact. I am using mostly black ink and washes created from it. In the original illustrations I used the occasional drop of colored ink as well, but the book is likely to be black and white, so the values will define how well any given image reads. Let the story begin. Welcome to another installment of Der Weihnachtsbaum, or the Christmas tree in English, the children's book I have been illustrating over the past couple months. For the book throughout, I have been working in ink using a combination of dip pen and washes applied with a brush. It is the week before Christmas and our friends wake up to the first snow of the season. A thick blanket is covering their garden. Cassie, Brummy and Hobbs, together with a group of the family's other stuffed animals, decide to go out and make the most of it. After a snowball fight, they decide on building a snowman. Cassie goes off to the shed to look for snowman accessories. She brings back a broom and a pot to serve as a hat and whatever else is needed. Later that evening, as Cassie, Brummy and Hobbs talk about the events of the day, they decide to go into the magical forest to get a Christmas tree for the house. Cassie tells them of all the wonderful and helpful tools that can be found in the shed. Early next morning, they load the sleigh with tools such as an axe and a length of rope and start their adventure. At first all goes smoothly, but as they ride the sleigh down a slope leading to the edge of the woods, a bump in the ground knocks Hobbs off. Cassie and Brummy at once jump off the sleigh to find Hobbs, who is rolling down the slope, turning himself into a giant snowball. When they reunite at the bottom of the slope, they find the tracks left by the sleigh, but it is gone. Instead, they find a trail of footprints where the tracks end. As it gets dark, they seek shelter in the root cavity of a big tree where they plan to spend the night. To protect themselves from the cold, they close the entrance from the inside with snow, leaving just enough of an opening to get fresh air, as well as wrapping themselves up in Hobbs's scarf. Our friends make it through the night without much of an incident, but early the next morning, Cassie is awoken by the sound of someone stepping onto a twig and snapping it in two. After they dug out of their cave, the three continue to follow the footprints in the snow until they come to a clearing in the woods. From behind a fallen tree, they start to survey their new surroundings and soon realize the prints they have been following lead directly to a house. While Hobbs voices concerns about going further, he is quickly convinced by the others, who assure him that whoever lives in the house can hardly be much taller than they are themselves, and maybe they even reach their destination. And so our friends decide to approach the mysterious house deep in the woods, deep in the magical forest for that. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you next week.